Today we're not eating healthy, but we're gonna eat good. We got these buffalo wings, and we got these onion rings. Let's give it a try. We are back at the Commerce Casino. I'm gonna make a very controversial statement, and it's that I think that the Commerce Casino actually has the best wings in Los Angeles. When you look at these things, they're actually like massive. They're really big wings, really juicy and a lot of meat. So definitely not, you know, some sort of open range organic chicken. This is probably pumped with steroids in some factory farm somewhere, but who cares, man? These things are fantastic. So take a look at the size of this thing. I got buffalo sauce on these. It's amazing. Crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside. Lots of meat in them. Buffalo sauce is good. And I'm really serious, like these wings are some of the best that I've had. And I know, you know, if you want to argue it out with me, you have a favorite wing spot in LA, drop it in the comments, reach out to me on social media, let me know where it is. Happy to go try it, but right now, it's very hard for me to find wings as meaty as this. Typically, even like really good wing spots have these very scrawny like wings. Barely any meat in them. Even the cooking method is good, even if the sauce is good. Very few places have as meaty wings as at the Commerce. I think I paid $12 after the Commerce Club discount card. So $12 for 2, 4, 6, 8 wings. 8 wings is a pretty good deal. I'm also a huge lover of onion rings. I've actually never tried the onion rings at Commerce before, and I just like having it with ketchup, plain old ketchup. I don't know why I have this obsession with onion rings, but solid onion rings. I will always take nice, solid onion rings. I actually much prefer onion rings over French fries. Just try with a little bit of ranch. Ranch always goes good with onion rings as well. But, actually these onion rings are better with ranch. They're not as good with ketchup, but I love ketchup. Onion rings anyway. So yeah, if you are in the mood for wings, definitely come out to the Commerce. Not that expensive and also really tasty. And yeah, actually if you live close by and watch some football on Sundays or basketball game with some wings, drive down to the Commerce, bring your Commerce card, get a bunch, bring them home. These are fantastic. Buffalo sauce is not overbearing. Good amount of spice, but not too spicy to where it's uncomfortable. I think there's a time and a place for extremely spicy food. I know some people like that kind of stuff, but I kind of want my eating experience to be not stressful. And sometimes like really spicy just seems stressful. So we did play the so last time I did make Day 2 of the Commerce Classic, 700K in chips, top 20 in chips. Had pretty decent table draw. Just had Peter Cross there, really good player obviously. And then over the day, we had some pretty good players coming in and out. I ended up busting in the 40s, disappointing finish. Throughout most of the day, I was kind of getting okay cards, sort of in the beginning, nothing like Sunrunish. Pause for a second. I'm just gonna take a little bite of the actual drumstick. As you can see how much meat there actually is. Like, the bone is like here in the middle. This whole thing is just meat all the way around. They're really massive. They're actually so big that I remember the first time I tried these, they actually have like these fried ones, and then you dip them in like buffalo sauce. I'm pretty sure they're the same wings, but I remember I got 12 of them instead of 6 because they came in 6, and then after 6 I was so full that I couldn't even eat. I mean, I did eat the rest of them, but you know, it took me a little while to get it down. But it's because the wings are so massive, but also they're actually pretty deep fried, so a little bit heavy on the deep fried part, but still comes together perfectly. Anybody who hasn't tried the wings at the Governor's Casino, come try them. Let me know what you think. And again, if you still think there's a better wing spot, please let me know what it is. If you try to tell me Wingstop or something, I won't block you, but I'm gonna be very upset. Anyways, back to the Commerce Classic. I don't think anything huge kind of went down. Mostly was just building up my stack. Got a couple of bluffs through, got a couple of value bets through. Got my stack from 700K up to, I think, a peak of 1.1 million. And then started to grind down, got really card dead. Losing chips. And then there was a bunch of little, you know, raise pre-flop, C-bet, had to kind of give up when things were clearly not only favoring the opponent's range, but it became very obvious to me that they had, you know, hit the board and I had not. So I ended up losing a whole bunch of little small pots like that. Got down to about 500K. And then very luckily got into a hand where I had 3-bet aces, person, rejam queens. Rehold, unbelievable to hold these days, even in an aces versus underpair situation. But that put me back up to 1 million, but then I ended up grinding myself down again. It's kind of happening a lot where I kind of so brutally card dead. Still raising 100% of my buttons no matter what I get. And because I'm playing so tight, because of my card deadness, it helps a little bit with kind of establishing what looks like a much stronger range even when I'm raising later position. But just really grinding my stack down. Then I made this bluff, which didn't work. Against a player who was playing like kind of tight, but who also was clearly not that great. I didn't think that he would be as sticky as he was. I didn't see enough of those scenarios for me to make that kind of read on him or that judgment on him, but every time I take a bite of these wings, I almost have to just stop and comment on how good they are. I'm really a big fan of the wings at the Commerce. Anyways, player raises under the gun. I call in big blind queen 10 offsuit, pretty standard. Probably started the hand, he had me covered. Started the hand with probably like 35-ish bigs. Pot comes ace, jack, like 4, no flush draw. I check, he bets, I call, you know, with my gutter. Also, maybe some opportunities to take the pot away if it becomes clear to me he doesn't have an ace. And I did get that signal on the turn. The turn was like an 8, which brought backdoor heart draw. Does not have any hearts. I check and he checks. And I've seen this player basically continue on turns before. I didn't see the showdowns, but you know, in the moment it read like strength. So I don't think this guy would typically check back, or sorry, yeah, would typically check back an ace there. Especially on a board that wasn't really that kind of drawy or scary. Or it was a total break like a 3. And I decided to lead based on that read. I bet pretty big, full pot. Like almost 300K, it was like 275K. which is more than half my stack. I'm gonna go to the tank. And he's tanking. Looking at me, tanking. In the tank for like 3 minutes. Eventually he just flips in the call and he had Jack 10 offsuit. So number one, he raised Jack 10 under the gun. He called it off with second pair. And people might think, oh, that was such a good call, but when you kind of walk the way through it, like what bluffs do I have there? There was no front door flush draw, right? I'm most likely not betting a jack there, but if I were, there's a very good chance I have the out kick. And yeah, overall, it was just really a nutty call. And afterwards, obviously, I was just like, well, maybe this is not the right type of player to bluff, but I ended up losing, you know, most of my chips there. Ended up with around like 10 big blinds. Got moved to a new table, got dealt no hands for a couple of orbits, and finally got ace jack suited, jammed. Somebody woke up with queens, must have moved from the tournament. Ended up cashing around like 48, 40, maybe I got under 45. I remember I made some kind of small pay jump. So, I mean, it was nice to go like kind of halfway through the field, especially during my bad run, especially, you know, in a relatively tough field in a 1K, but still very disappointing, very bitter about, you know, not having gone deeper and making that final table. But the good thing is me and Ty get to do commentary on the final table today, so that's why I'm actually here at the conference today, just to do that final table commentary. But I'm gonna finish off these wings, have a good time doing commentary, and then I'm not really sure what the next tournament's gonna be, but hopefully we go deep in that one. But thank everyone for watching.